Hello, Shibli. I'd like to start by asking you the name of your book, please.
Yes, it's called Living Well with Dementia.
Can you please tell me why there is so much emphasis on drugs in dementia?
Yeah, good question. Now, actually, the issue is there are more than 200 different causes of dementia. The big one is, of course, Alzheimer's disease, which is a problem initially with mainly memory and attention in a part of the brain near the ear. And talking about treatments for drugs for dementia is not quite right, as there are so many different types of dementia. That said, we have treatments for Alzheimer's disease. There's no robust evidence they actually slow down the disease. They have minimal effect in the majority of people with dementia as regards attention and memory, but doctors like them because it makes a person with dementia into a patient, and you start to treat them using a medical model, and you can be seen to be treating them. That's why doctors love this perception of dementia, but in fact, the approach generally has failed. So I wanted to write a book on why it's failed and what can be done about it.
With regards to the recently concluded summit on dementia from G8, what do you think is their current strategy?
Yeah, well, it's a very good question. What is their current strategy? Now, we know the history of it a bit, that last year the big pharma wanted to boost their ailing industry. Now, why ailing? Because the medications weren't thought to be working, so they needed a different tack. And this approach was to collaborate across various countries. That is what I do. That I talk to people in Argentina and Australia, senior professors in academic dementia. We've been doing this for a long time. So what's new there? Well, sharing data across trials, but sharing big data. Big data is big money for pharma. If they can pool their genomic information, this takes it into a completely different stratosphere of profit generation called personalized medicine, and this is where it's at for Corbus. So a lot of the discussion was talk about how law could make it more flexible for data sharing, and of course you have to be worried about flexibility for data sharing because there are issues about privacy. Anyway, it was a bit of an opening foray into this discussion. It was really quite a good, effective PR mechanism for having the discussion out in the open. But as regards what it actually did for people living with dementia, and of course their families or their carers meaning people who know them, care for them, and share with their biological condition, their legal considerations, and their financial problems, issues like being safe from being taken advantage of. As regards practical help and fund support, it was very disappointing, really. So I'm positive about GA dementia, but if you read between lines, it's very clear who the winners were, and obviously I'm on the side of the person with dementia.
Why, in your view, person living with dementia so important then?
Yeah, well, I've referred to the medical model earlier. A medical model talks about the patient who can't do things, who has deficits in memory, attention, planning, working memory, perception even, who knows, but doesn't talk about what they can do. This is wrong. When friends of yours have dementia, living with dementia, they would prefer to talk about what they can do, what they can contribute to living and enjoying their life. And this is an approach which is more common outside medicine, and one which I think outlines a fundamental failing of the medical profession, and is very sad. Tom Kitwood was a great man, and I must admit I never heard of him in 10 years of medical undergraduate and postgraduate training. It's a real shame of mine. He introduced the concept of personhood and person-centered care. Think about the self, what their past was, what their present might be as a guide to their future. It's a totally different way of looking at things. Things are no longer glass half full, empty. They're now glass half full. It's a totally different way of looking at things. So think positively about what you can do to help people who live with dementia.
And finally, Shibli, what can be done to encourage people to live well with dementia?
Yeah, well, you're asking a question as if you're not particularly optimistic about the answer, but I will perhaps put it to you that probably a lot more can be done than with drugs, in fact. So if you're looking at the care versus cure debate, we're talking about something totally different. And bear in mind, we, in the world of people living with dementia, would like a tiny fraction of this money. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about making walls fit for people to be living in, or houses designed well, or I'm talking about external environments being nice for people with memory problems, like having signposts in the right place and paving slabs which encourage familiarity for people who are living with dementia. I'm talking about tools which people with dementia can use, like memory aids, or innovations in their house, which that they did mention in G8, which is encouraging. So all these assistive technologies and ambient innovation is a wonderful way in which we could help people with dementia. And thanks to the EU, there is a lot of research money going there, in fact. And luckily, last week, Stirling University got a massive grant to investigate dementia-friendly communities. This is great. Although it's useful that a bank will want to make their bank friendly towards a person living with dementia, it would be nice if we can have this on a footing based on evidence, where it's not just part of a corporate business plan, but it's actually footed in real evidence, and medics as well can be part of the discussion and look at whether the stuff works in a useful way. And generally I think it'd be nice if we had much more robust, good data on non-pharmacological interventions, as well as good data on pharmacological techniques. I'd be the first to acknowledge if there were a cure or an effective treatment, it would be wonderful. But I think we have to set our expectations at the right level. So anyway, the book comes out in January.
Thank you very much, Shibli. We look forward to seeing your book published on 14th of January 2014.
Thank you.